Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where we are currently working our way out of debt, and we're actually very close here. We have a new admiral, apparently. Sure, he can be in charge of our 3 ships. That's fine. So we're currently working on getting our electrics industries built up. That is very important. We need to get rid of our shortage of telephones, and that's going to be a very big deal. After that, we may want to start thinking about going to war, and the question is against whom? Ukraine, perhaps? They have not strengthened. Great Britain has. Great Britain has surpassed us at this point as being the most powerful. And that's not surprising. We're not shocked about that. I also don't really care. We don't really have any particular opinion about Great Britain. They're kind of out of the way. We stay out of each other's way. That's the plan here. So that's fine. I mean, they've got all of this going on, right? So Britain is gonna be powerful. That's absolutely understood. For now, I want to get these electrics industries established and get these coal mines built up. That'll be nice. I do see that we currently have a bit of a lack of oil and wood, and we can get more oil and wood production going. So that's maybe not a terrible idea. I'm going to move up these oil rigs here. These are... Okay, it moved on me. I was intending to only move up the ones in that section that were not having a production malice, but I don't think I actually succeeded at that. That's okay. I'm going to move up these guys that were getting progress, about like that. And then we'll just chill here for the moment. We'll work on a couple of oil rigs in the background. We're primarily working on electrics industries, but there's still these electrics industries down here, and that's fine. So that looks good, and as far as wood goes, France has claimed Sinai? Very rude. They're protective of us, too. Okay, whatever. So we need to get some wood production up here. What have we got here? Logging camps? Sure. I'm going to move up a few of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. There we go. That'll do for now. So we still need to get some telephone production going, obviously. That's a very big deal. We'll get these logging camps done soon enough. We'll get this railway finished up soon enough as well. So we've got this going on right now. Transportation shortage in Wadai we're working on. In Abruzzo, we have an electricity shortage. Subsidization. Okay, in Nejd, we have an electricity shortage. The subsidization here as well. And in East Hausaland, we have a transportation shortage. We need to build a railway there. So that's absolutely fine. That is underway. And we'll get this all wrapped up soon enough. Our electrics industries are still expanding, and private industry is starting to build some electrics industries too, so that's good. I do see that our deficit has grown, which is exciting. We're going to be finishing up some of these electrics industries in Transjordan soon enough. And we've got more in the queue, of course. We'll probably move those up once we finish our existing. Actually, we might just build through the logging camps here. Art Silk has been unlocked. That's fine. I don't care. We're not in a big crunch for silk at this moment, so I'm not too concerned about that. Now, we just finished up all of those logging camps, so that should help our wood situation here. But we still very, very much need to deal with our electrics situation, right? I'm going to move these electrics industries up to the top to replace the wood. So we're primarily working on our electrics at this moment. I'm moving these railways back up to the top. That's fine. It doesn't actually change anything around. This is okay. So we'll get these electrics industries built. We need a lot more electrics industries. How's the British GDP anyway? British GDP is slightly below ours, and we've widened the gap a little bit. So that's very good. We need to produce a lot more telephones, and we're definitely going to work on that. Minus 1680 still. That's rough. But even with that, we're doing very well economically. I'm surprised at how well we're doing economically, even with this massive shortage of telephones. So that's absolutely great. We will get our production of telephones up, and that will be absolutely fantastic eventually. We just need to work our way through this deficit. So our electrics industries in Transjordan are going to be finishing up soon. I'm wondering, how many did we actually build there? Okay, so that's going up to 50. And the main core issue is that we're just not putting additional people there. So we need to get another set going somewhere, and it looks like a good option might actually be Constantine. So let's go ahead and build here in Constantine. That's putting it into Chad for some reason. I don't actually want to put it into Chad. No, it didn't put it into Chad. It just didn't put it at the top of the list. No, it put it into Constantine. Wild. Okay, maybe I just looked at it wrong. Regardless, I want to put these peasants to work. So here in Constantine, we're going to get that built, and I want this to be foreign. Right, this is a foreign investment. I don't actually want a foreign investment, do I? No, I don't. So we've got East Houseland, where we have people, but they're lacking the qualifications. We could just build this in Niger. Or we could just wait for the workforce in Transjordan to get to where it needs to be. I guarantee you there's some migration happening here. +4? That's not a lot of migration. +28. Yeah, that's really not a ton of migration there. It will take a while at that rate for our electrics industries to max out. A very long while. So that's understood. We also have a bit of a shortage of quite a lot of things going into this, but that's fine. I do think that we should build a second production line of telephones somewhere. We just need to choose where. And I guess Chad will do. So we've got 2 + 6 going in there right now, so that's of course 8. That brings us up to 10, and then I'm going to do... it's control click for 10. Right. So we need to bring this up to be... Do we want to bring this to the economy of scale cap? Honestly, kinda. So that brings us up to 50 right there. And a lot of these didn't get moved up to the top of the queue. That's understood. I'm going to move them manually to the top of the queue, but we don't actually want them at the exact top of the queue. We actually want them to be moved up a little bit, or rather moved down like this. Okay. So that's going to be overbuilding our electrics industries at this point. It's going to take a while for the electrics industries in Transjordan to fully come online. That's okay. We will continue to get these finished off, and then our electrics industries in Chad are just going to slowly get started here. By the time we finish the railway in Wadai, I think that we're going to have the electrics industries in Chad pretty solidly underway. We're still not seeing the telephone production numbers shift very much, and that's absolutely understood. So that, of course, just means that we don't have enough workers in Transjordan. That is a problem that will eventually fix itself, but it will absolutely take time. So transportation shortage in East Houseland and Wadai, we're working on both of those. No problem there. We've got our oil rigs coming through here, and that's absolutely great. We only have a few of them coming in for now. We may want to consider moving these oil rigs up to the top, although I'm going to move these down to the bottom because they are malist. I think for the moment, building the electrics industries in Chad is actually a higher priority. So we're down to 1557 here now. That's definitely a good sign on our telephones. And how are we doing on our debt? Our debt is down to 9 million, under 9 million. So that's looking fantastic. We're going to be done with our electrics industries in Transjordan in simply 5 weeks here, 4 weeks now. So that's looking absolutely phenomenal. And we can see that in Transjordan, we've got a bit of an electricity issue, as well as we've got some rubber, some lead, some iron. We've got a lot of input goods materials issues here. That's understood. Do we have a market access issue in Transjordan? This kind of looks like a market access issue, doesn't it? World market access is only 50%. It doesn't have a trade center, so it's not trading on the world market. And our market access is only 50% because infrastructure usage is higher than infrastructure. Oh, right. I was looking at our taxation capacity, and I'm like, what's going on here? It's here. It is here. So we need to boost this up by... Each level here is going to be 30. So that's 30, 60, 90. I'm going to do one more. So that brings us up by 120, which is more than sufficient. We'll get those built. That is, of course, going to be very significant. Market access there is a big deal. Where else do we have market access issues? So we have market access issues in Deir ez-Zor. This is indeed an infrastructure issue. So we need to just go into our railways and sort by infrastructure at this moment. So we can see minus 75, which means that 4 is overkill here, and we should really only get 3. Okay, so that's fine for now. And then I want to check in Deir ez-Zor, we're going to need 2 levels in. Eritrea, we really only need to subsidize this railway. Syria, we need a railway level in. And East Houseland, there are multiple people building in, so that looks good. We'll get that all underway. Getting those market accesses is top priority, especially in Transjordan. That's going to make it a lot easier to hire in more people to our electrics industries, because that will give us, well, market access is huge. Market access is enormous, especially when we're trying to provide market access to telephones that are produced there. Turns out we need to be able to ship them out of there. That's very useful things to have, right? That's not surprising. So that'll be done in 19 weeks at this point. We're done with our construction in Transjordan other than the railways, and we're now working on our electronics industries in Chad. And that is also probably going to cause us some infrastructure problems. So that's absolutely noted for now. Our railway in Wadai is actually making decent progress, although it's gone up a little bit in terms of the construction inefficiency. It's rough, no doubt about it, but we don't actually care all that much. It's just one location. We'll just keep plugging away at it. It'll be done in a little over a year. That's fine. We're out of infamy at this point, and we're not really at a point where I feel like we can super afford our army, although I wouldn't mind, well, for one thing, we need to get another guy here. Trade unions is fine. And we need another guy here. This is going to be industrialists. I don't want to give more power to the Rabbinical Council. So that seems okay for now. Shockingly, we have a shortage of telephones. I know everyone's surprised about this. I'm actually surprised that this just popped up here and then went away. We're still running a shortage of telephones. It's not a problem, but it's... Well, it is a problem, but it's not causing us any significant issues right now, and we're actively working on fixing it. So that seems fine. In the military tree here, we can continue to work on, say, automatic machine guns, which I kind of want to do. We'll get going on that. So that all looks good for now. We've got more people mass immigrating, which is absolutely great. And if we check in on our population here, 1.3%, it's okay. We're gaining 1.22 million annually. And in terms of population here, 1.84 million. China is probably the highest. Well, they're Ming right now. Okay. Ming is probably the highest population. Oh, yeah, definitely. But their annual projected pop growth is negative. So that is absolutely noted. So at this point, we are still in debt, but we're going to have that debt gone very, very, very shortly. So our electrics industries are definitely wrapping up in Chad. We're definitely seeing our production start to rise, but I expect that to really spike once our railways in Transjordan finish in another 7 weeks. Oh, wow. Our construction efficiency in Wadai just dropped to 40%. That timer ran out. Beautiful. So this construction is finally going to finish in 5 weeks. That's absolutely great. You can see that our balance has gone up, and that's actually, I think, because we're providing more telephones. That's my current theory on that. It dropped when our deficit of telephones started up, and we're spending a lot of money on trying to acquire non-existent telephones. So that's, not great. But as of right now, this is going very well. So let's get the railways in Transjordan done in 3 weeks. That's going to be a very big deal here. And that'll boost our market access quite a lot. 96 now. Really? Okay, so we actually need another railway in Transjordan. We'll get that started. Now I'm regretting canceling that extra safety railway that I put in, but There we go. So we'll get that started, and at the very least, these 3 levels of railway in Transjordan will substantially help matters. There we go. So those are now in there, and we should start to see this market access rise somewhat, assuming that we're going to be hiring into the railways. We are not. Let's subsidize those railways. That's going to be necessary. 10% minting, minus 2% loan interest rate. That's phenomenal. Okay, so we should now be hiring in here, although I'm not sure that we have started yet. 15 laborers last week. Okay, so we're starting to hire into this railway, and that should boost things somewhat. The market access over here is dire, and we're working on it. Okay, so we're up to 47% market access now. That's looking a lot better. So that looks good. How's our construction in Chad going? Well, I want to check in on Chad and check what their infrastructure is. Yeah, we absolutely need to get some railways going in Chad. And we're going to need probably at least 3 or 4 of them. I'm going to make 5. So we'll get that underway, and that'll be top priority here. Our additional railway in Transjordan is going to be done in 15 weeks, but the real issue here is that we need to get people put to work here, or we need people here to put to work. So one thing we could think about doing is we could think about cutting one of our consumption taxes, and this is a decent one to cut. It's only 12.3K. So I'm going to remove that consumption tax, and we're going to... Okay, what's this Ukraine war? A bunch of people sided with Ukraine on something. Cairo initiated this. Well, okay then. That's not going to go well for them. Okay. As I was saying, I've actually forgotten what I was doing. Oh, right. We cut a consumption tax to get some additional authority, and then the goal is that we are going to do a greener grass campaign, although we need a little bit more authority. So we're going to cut our consumption tax on automobiles, which is a pretty significant tax, but we're going to get a greener grass campaign issued for Transjordan at this point. So the idea here is that we want to boost up the migration to Transjordan. So 112, that's okay. And we can see that this railway is hiring in. We're up to 64% market access. We are no longer running a shortage of telephones. What actually is our balance of telephones right now? So let's sort by balance here. Minus 1K. Okay, so we're doing well on telephones at this point. No issue there. Lead is a significant issue, although that's not surprising. And as expected, these electrics industries in Chad, they are absolutely overkill. I'm going to cancel any electrics industries in Chad right now that don't have progress. I'm going to cancel any that aren't actively being worked on, actually. So we're just going to do something like this. We're overbuilding our electrics industries. That's understood. We've canceled some. And I do want to bring up oil. Oil production would be good. Oh, we can build a coal mine? Absolutely do so. Absolutely do so. And we can get more oil production in Chad as well. That'll be fine. We can get more in the Israeli Trucial Coast by quite a lot. But that's all I'm going to do there for now. And I want to move these guys up. There we go. About like that. We're going to need a lot more infrastructure work over there. That's absolutely understood. So we're almost out of debt at this point. We're about a month away from being out of debt, and that's phenomenal. I will start thinking about cutting taxes here fairly soon. This is actually valuable? Valid? It's a word starting with a V. This is actually something that we could theoretically do. Viable. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, fantastic. This is actually viable to go to high taxes. It is not viable at this time to go to medium taxes. So that is understood. Let's check in on our economy delta with Britain. It is... about the same. Okay. So we're holding our economic delta with Britain at this moment. That's not ideal. I'd like to be growing our economic delta. Let's check in on our peasant and unemployment count. That is down quite a bit from last time I looked at it. So that's a very good sign. That's a very good sign. So over in Transjordan, I want to check in on the status of, okay, our world market access is at 100, and we're at 100 here. So we should be at this point, yeah, this railway is good at this point. Excellent. So we don't really need a greener grass campaign over here at this point. So we'll get rid of that. And we can put that into an additional consumption tax if we wanted to, and it would be putting back the automobile consumption tax. That's fine for now. That will get cut down as we cut our taxes, which is absolutely fine. I'm very happy about our situation here, and it's going to continue to improve significantly with leaps and bounds. So these electrics industries in Chad, they're 7 weeks away from finishing at this point, and we're going to be producing plenty of telephones. So that's not an issue at this moment. We did just dip under 500 billion for our GDP, which is definitely not ideal, but we're going to be getting some of these oil rigs going. That coal mine should be moved up. Okay, that'll be absolutely fine for now. Cool. So our railways in Chad are going to be done soon, and if we check in on Chad here, my question is, are we actually getting people to work in these railways? Yes, we are. Okay, beautiful. There's an input goods shortage of electricity here. Okay, how much electricity are we short here? 822. That's a lot of electricity. Okay, so 822 electricity short. Each one of these is producing 54.2 per level, approximately. That means that we need a lot of levels here. Okay. We need to be building a lot of power plants here, and I'm just going to take this until the predicted earnings go negative. There we go. So something like that. Luckily, power plants are a lot cheaper to build than they used to be, and that's absolutely fine. We are probably wanting to get the electricity production done before we get these other productions done. Although this coal mine production is fine. So we can do something like that. And we'll get those power plants finished up in a few weeks here. That's not too bad. That's probably part of what we've got going on there. Yeah, this electricity shortage here. So, transportation shortage in Wood Dye. Honestly, that's under control, I think. In Israeli Trucial Coast, we've got a transportation shortage here. That seems dealable. In Kordofan, what do we got going on here? Just subsidize it. In Deir ez-Zor, an electricity shortage. We could absolutely be building some additional power plants here. Hang on. I'm queuing these at the top of the list right now. This is a lot of power plants, and I don't necessarily want these actually high priority. That's 38 power plants. So, I mean, that's a lot. What do we need all this power plant production for? Oh, textile mills. Yeah, that would do the trick. So in Transjordan, we've got a shortage as well. And this is similarly going to need quite a number of power plants. Something like that. I do want to prioritize the power plants in Chad at this moment. So we're going to move these guys up like that. But then we've got a lot of power plants in the queue here. We need to do quite a lot of infrastructure development, it seems. And that's absolutely fine. So to that end, we could go through our power plants here, and we could just sort by earnings. 150 levels in Palestine? Wow. We can't change our production methods, right? I'd love it if we could change our production methods. No, we can't go to the oil-fired plant yet. We're missing the oil turbine for that, and we should be pretty close to that. I don't know if it's getting exposed. Oil turbine is this right here. I'll just queue that up after automatic machine guns. That'll be a very useful thing to do, because we're building a lot of power plants, and we probably just want to get a better production method going for that. That'll be the better way to go in that regard. So for now, that seems absolutely fine, and we do have some market access issues, particularly in Chad. That's understood. I'm not surprised about that in the slightest. It is about time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to get some of these power plants built. Actually, we'll get all of them built in the next episode. Power plants are pretty quick to build these days, and that's great. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.